Do you have a patient named Marquet on this ward?
Oui, monsieur. He is in the private room at the end of the ward. He has been placed in strict isolation.
Why is Marquet in quarantine?
If you wish to know more, you'll have to speak to Herr Hagenmeier. All I know is that Marquet's room is strictly out of bounds.
Do you know who paid for Marquet's room?
No, of course I don't.
Preferential treatment like that must cost an arm and a leg.
That's not my concern, monsieur.
Is this plaster any use to you?
No, it isn't.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I don't.
Do you recognize this tissue?
No, I don't. It looks like a chronic health risk to me.
Well, I've been carrying it around for days and I'm okay.
There's an argument.
Would you like to shake hands with me?
Well...
No, it's okay. Forget it.
Oh, she was about to. Come on, man.
Does this tool mean anything to you?
I don't recognize it.
Does this mean anything to you?
The Club à la Moute? I've never heard of it.
Darn. We need to find that club.
Do you know Merlin of Gruber Electronics?
No, I don't.
What is this device?
It's for taking the patient's blood pressure, doctor.
You'd think he could have at least pretended to know that.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
It's beautiful, but I've never seen it before.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Okay. So it's her, or the exit, or
This guy didn't look sick to me. He didn't have spots or stitches, and he certainly didn't have a fever.
Scroll.
Doctor!
Ah, yes, we can scroll here. But it looks like we gotta talk to him first.
What is it?
You haven't taken my blood pressure.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Of course I am.
No, you're not. Dr. Monroe never did it like that.
I can't take a satisfactory reading while you're excited like this. I'll come back later.
So there.
This guy didn't look sick to me. He didn't have spots.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hello? Anybody home?
Who are you?
My name is Dr. Stobart, and I'm here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Dr. Monroe said there was no cure for what I've got.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it. What can you tell me about Marquet?
He's the man in the private room, isn't he? That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common squatter.
A member of the aristocracy.
Do you know what's wrong with Marquet?
They won't even say what's wrong with me. Tell me, Doctor, what's your opinion?
It's too early to say.
But I've been here for 3 months.
I would suspect they're keeping you here so that you continue to pay them.
What's your impression of Nurse Grendel?
She's a very efficient young woman.
Efficient? You make her sound like a vacuum cleaner.
I've no complaints.
Oh, was that a sleazy line? Shame on you, writers.
The woman in reception described Nurse Grendel as a monster.
Well, that's simply not true. She's quite strict, but that's her job, isn't it? You've got to have discipline in a place like this.
Do you know what this is?
It looks like plaster.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, Doctor. Who is it?
A cold-blooded killer. Do you recognize this red nose?
Doesn't that belong to Boissy?
No. I found it in a sewer.
He's a clown, you know. You wouldn't think so to look at him now, would you?
Have you any idea what this is?
No, Doctor. I wouldn't even like to guess.
Yes. Shake my hand.
No way.
Oh, come on.
Do you know what this tool is used for?
I'd rather not, Doctor.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
I'm not really a nightclub man, Doctor.
Have you heard of a guy called Merlin?
No, Doctor.
I'm going to take your blood pressure.
Why?
I'm a doctor. It's my job.
See if he's just going to complain about it again.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing...
You're not doing it right.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
No, Doctor.
I'll come back later.
Alright, let's see this. Marquet.
Oh, Doctor.
What now?
You didn't finish taking my blood pressure.
Oh. I mean, we gotta get this guy to shut up before we can get anywhere.
Okay, let's try again.
You don't have the first idea what you're doing, do you?
I'll come back when you've recovered your manners.
Alright, one more try. Is he still gonna give us flack here?
You haven't finished...
Oh, fine. Okay, we're really gonna have to get this guy satisfied before we
Will
can
you
move
keep
on.
quiet? You're disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come he gets preferential treatment? It's because he's got money, isn't it?
I'll come back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder.
Let's see if we can talk about how we're doing the blood pressure thing right.
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
Do you want this,
Device for measuring blood pressure?
Yeah, do you want it back?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Maybe we need to talk to the doctor out front.
The woman managed to look...
Nope, this guy.
The young man's face was full of eagerness and enthusiasm. I figured he was fresh from college. Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Yes, sir?
Whoa.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
Call me George if you like.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's my name.
My name's Benoit, but everyone calls me Bunny.
Bunny?
That's right. I used to have this cute habit when I was a kid.
Keep it to yourself, Benoit. Do you know anything about a patient named Marquet?
And no, sir, I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Do you know the nurse on Ward J2?
No, monsieur. This is my first day here. I can't wait to get my hands dirty. I was talking about treating my first patient, of course. I didn't mean I'd get my hands dirty with a nurse.
Shut up, Benoit.
Okay, sir.
Alright, maybe we can have him take the blood pressure correctly.
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, keep it safe until I think of something.
Okay, he has it.
See you later.
Right.
So, let's see what's down this way. Oh, it's the same thing. Okay. Let's tell this guy that the other guy can take his blood pressure.
Hi, it's me again.
Oh, we don't have that option.
I'll come back later.
Maybe this will trigger him to come in.
You haven't finished taking my blood pressure.
Will you keep quiet? You're disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come
I'll come back.
Oh, that doesn't work? Darn. Let's talk to the nurse again.
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
No,
Thank you,
that's not
nurse.
gonna work.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Let's talk to the doctor again.
Excuse me, sir.
Aha! Just the man. You must be the new boy.
Yeah, I must be.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful. Bernie, come here, boy.
Oh, he's going to be
This
assigned
is
as our
Benoit,
intern.
my nephew. Can I trust you to look after him?
Yes.
He is fresh out of medical school. It will open his eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around. Let him see some real suffering.
Apparently all they see is the coat, considering we were just talking to him not long before. Alright, let's do this.
Hi, it's me again.
Oh,
I'll come back later.
guess we need to do it this way.
You haven't finished taking my blood pressure.
Will you...
Now keep quiet.
I have to see...
Oh, it's but
I'll come...
Okay, maybe we need to talk to the intern
Hey, Benoit!
first.
Yes, sir?
Do the blood pressure thing.
Do you still have that gauge I gave you?
Ah, yes. What do you want me to do with it?
Use it on Eric Sopmarsh.
Okay.
Now let's get out of here. Oh, that was annoying. Oh, look, one more barrier between us and the goal.
He sat like a statue of a sack of potatoes, but the cop's eyes were as watchful as a hawk's. I'm Dr. Stobart.
Bonjour, docteur.
Man, look at those eyes. It's creepy.
Have you seen any suspicious characters on the ward?
Yeah, I have.
A gorilla and a weasel?
No, this was a tatty old bear.
How is the bear acting suspiciously?
Well, he was wearing a homburg.
Is that against the law?
No, but it's pretty weird for a bear.
Have you heard of a guy called Marquet?
He's in quarantine, doc, right behind this here door.
Marquet is just the man I wanted to see.
I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax.
Is that what he told you?
I have to visit my patient.
What for?
Routine. I have to check he's still breathing.
What if he's not?
I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant.
That's a cold and distant attitude to death.
Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness.
The white coat suits you.
Thanks.
Nice.
Can you think of any sensible use for this plaster?
Sensible? No. Puerile? Yes. But you probably thought of those already.
I think I like this guy.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I have never seen him before.
Do you recognize this red nose?
Don't get cute with me.
What does this tissue suggest to you?
It looks as if it has been used to wipe Satan's bottom.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but you could be right.
The master of metaphor, or is it simile, is impressed.
Would you like to shake hands?
What for?
As a gesture of goodwill.
On reflection? No.
Ah, the eternal disappointment.
What do you think this tool is used for?
Branding mice without bending down.
I like that one.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamet?
No. It sounds Middle Eastern.
Are you Thomas Merlin of Gruber Electronics?
No.
Then you won't be needing this. Do you recognize this gem?
It isn't an emerald, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
No, it's not. It's blue. Jeez.
Catch you later, officer.
Au revoir, Doc.
Whoa.
Marquet?
Yes, I am Marquet. I've been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lochmar gem.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
I thought you were one of the assassin.
Not me. I never inhaled.
So,
Oh.
you were sent in my place.
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grand Master. Quickly tell him that I have found the tripod right here in Paris.
You have it?
Not yet, but it's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges with a flair for petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know them as for Klausner. He has gone off to Syria on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of the... That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. If Herr Hagenmeyer was to hear that...
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
Ah, there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter.
Uh-oh.
The door's locked. Help me, officer.
Stand back, monsieur.
Well, darn. Back in Nico's apartment.
Hello, George.
Guess who else has died?
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah. Killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying man? Was it Count?
No,
Us.
I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't Khan. He got away, out the window. Have you ever heard of the Hashiashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again. Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves. No.
Oh, you don't want to show her the pressure gauge?
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one, Rousseau or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
Well, what about me? Alright, let's try the police station again.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur.
Oh, we already did this.
Could you...
One, their name...
Bon.
See you later, Sergeant.
Actually, why don't we check out the museum? Maybe they've already robbed the tripod. Oh, someone new here.
He was a thin-faced, pallid guy with a questionable taste in outlandish clothes. My mother used to dress like that. I beg your pardon. Are you André Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No. I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
Bang.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure. It was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn? That's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived. Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much. Only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah. Not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
Just put in a quarter and get some backstory.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochmarn tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language, Assassini, the assassins.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legend surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
Templars to the left of me, assassins to the right, and here I am, stuck in the middle with you. So, he talked about the head of the assassins being the Grand Master, which was what that dying man in the hospital was wanting us to get a message to, so he must have been part of their order. So I'm wondering if the guy who killed him was a Templar.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
This friend who has the manuscript?
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
She lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
Whoa, that sounded a little menacing, George. Have you done something very stupid?
Do you recognize this white powder, Andre?
No.
You don't know plaster? Well, even if he doesn't give us any information from these items, he certainly give us a nice amount of backstory.
Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
Take a look at this nose, Lobineau.
It really doesn't interest me, Georgie.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
I'd like to shake you by the hand, Andre.
Not now, Georgie.
What do you make of this tool?
Interesting. Where did you get it?
From a dig in Paris.
Vraiment? I didn't realize there were any excavations in progress in the city.